So I was just saying, we're going to start with the kind of just a help link here. That's always in the bottom left corner. Contact NJDOT. Click that and it'll give you an email based on whatever group you're kind of looking for. Highway occupancy and minor, major, and then just additional details on the website itself. I believe this is where kind of the how-to videos and just more materials will be stored afterwards. So I believe most of you are already registered in this system, so I'm not going to go too in depth with the registration, but I will just give a brief overview here. So this will be the main NJDOT E-Permits.net. I'm sure people will be sharing this link or distributing it as needed. So to register, you would click Create New Account. And we should probably make it as clear as possible here, clearer than this, but the first thing that should be done is you select your company from this list. This will pick a company that is already in our system. Then you will add your contact information over here on this right side, and then you will be added to that company. After this, you would go to the MyNJ portal, register there. Once you're all set up, kind of in both places, unfortunately, I really only have this quick screenshot of it, but on my.nj.gov on your portal, once you're all good in both systems, you will get this DOT e-permits link. And then once you click this, then you will kind of come into the BEM e-permitting system. So this is the home screen when you get through the single sign-on through MyNJ, and you use that link on their dashboard. So from this portal, you could do several things. Let's just start with account management. So you can edit your user information. You see the company details are read-only on the left on this screen, and you can edit your contact information on the right. The email address is read-only because once it's kind of tied to your login, it is very tightly coupled to the rest of the system and things like that. If you need that changed, you probably will have to reach out to DOT and they'll get in contact with us and we can sort that out as needed. So this is the user profile, company profile. You have admin. If you're an admin contact, you can update your company details here. And you can also see all the contacts associated with that company. You can edit people's information here as well if you're an admin contact of the company. All that. And again, this is what the people will be using to log in. So if they ever have a question about what they should be using once they set up, this contact email is their login email. So once you're all set up, your company and your account, we can get into these kind of widgets here. The first one we'll tackle is submitting an application. If you've been in the system, you're familiar with this, but now, starting next week, you will see letter of no interest, as well as pre-application meeting. They work similar to the rest of the permits if you've done those before, but I will go over some slight differences as we go along. So I'm going to go to apply for a pre-application. This first checkbox is relatively self-explanatory. You check it if you're submitting on behalf of yourself and your company, and it pre-fills all your information in. If you're submitting on behalf of someone else, leave that unchecked, fill in the information as needed. Location information. This is all now connected to the same GIS standard data set that all the other permits use. You need to fill in a block and lot. The required fields have the red asterisk. Other ones are not required, so I'm just going to do kind of the bare minimum right now. This is all usual information that you can fill in. So traffic impact study is something unique to pre-application. It explains it all here. If you check this, you will have to pay the $1,000 on this application submission. So we'll go ahead and do that. The required documents you need to attach. There's also some help links here. You need to double check the checklist. And then the acknowledgement piece. Testing for now. And now you have two options down here, three technically. Save for later will do what it says. It'll just lock in the information as you left it, so you didn't need to fill in all the required fields. It doesn't really check for anything, but save for later will allow you to come back to it and finish it up. I'll go over that when we get to action items. That's where you'll find these again. But if you submit request after you have all the required fields, you'll go to the next step. So this is the first important piece. You should always kind of copy this out for yourself, the customer reference number. This is what the DOT staff users will see and that you'll always see, and that's the best way to communicate to keep track of the permits that you're going back and forth on. So I will just paste that there. Customer reference number, okay. It'll take me to payment. So we have a test credit card here. Go through, submit payment. This isn't part of the BEM system. This is part of just the usual NJDOT payment portal. So now that your payment has been successful, you'll see that you already have a pre-application number. Copy that out as well. Okay. Now that means that the DOT staff has this application. Application permit list. After you submit, like I said, this is view your submitted applications and granted permits here. Click that. Just double check sort by date received. This is the one we just submitted. You'll see the status is pre-app request received. Now, if I just go do something quickly in the staff portal, I want to show you the customer communication side of this and some notifications you might get. Oh, also important, email. So the user who submitted it will get an email that looks like this, letting you know, again, the customer reference number has been submitted. I'll have that here. It's in the subject as well as the body. So I go here. Quickly find that permit we just submitted. You guys can ignore all of this for right now. This is on the staff side. Customer communication. Let's say the staff needs some more information from you, additional information requested. You're gonna be waiting for response. Need another document. That should be it. Send that. This is when you will receive this email. You have 30 days to complete an action item for that permit. So once you see this, this is when you'll go to action items in the customer portal. Go back here, back to the home screen. This is where the action item widget comes in. So there's really, especially pertaining to pre-app and LONI specifically, there's only going to be two relevant action item types. One is these save for laters that you see here on my account. That is just, I opened up a permit, I click save for later, and that's it. It's here for me to finish. And so you see that's a lot of the account. But the most recent one that I just saw that the information was requested, this is this additional information needed. So I'll see this. It has a due date of 30 days. It will expire and disappear from here at that time. Yeah, so we can click here to complete this item. And since they needed a response, it will require you to attach a document. So please attach any necessary documents in your response. Click that. Upload something. Document is attached. And then click submit. And now that goes back to the staff. Oh, and I believe while this status here will also update as they're going through this process. So this is the one that we just did. Since they're still reviewing your response, it is still awaiting revision response. It'll stay that way until kind of the next step in the process, which I will go quickly do now. back to the staff side. Schedule a meeting date. Save that. Choose a case manager. Now I see the status is meeting scheduled. If I go ahead and refresh this screen, I will see that the pre-application meeting has been scheduled. So like I said, this customer status reflects what they're doing on the staff side. So everybody kind of has a insight into what's going on behind the scenes. And then I'll just do one more status update here, meeting complete. Save that as well. Once everything's done, you will see that reflected here. Pre-app meeting complete. So one other thing to note, if you did that traffic study and you paid that $1,000 at the time of this pre-application submission, if you go to link this back to another major or major with planning application, it'll be $1,000 cheaper. So it does kind of carry over if you link it to a pre-app that has already been paid for. Payment activity is exactly what it sounds like. This will be all your payments here. You can see we're doing a lot of testing, but these are the $1,000 that we did. You can track everything. You can filter up here by year, state. So this will be everything on your account. Always has a customer reference number. Payment types. I think these are the old ones. You'll see application fee for anything that you do. Let me sort by receipt date here for some better data. Yeah. So this is what it'll look like. And let me just go to a letter of no interest. Just to show you that as well. Again, same main modules here. I think this is the only thing unique on the letter of no interest application. That is it for the main use cases. There is also the help button up top. Several FAQs. We're constantly tweaking this. Obviously, if you have any major pain points or questions that you think should be here, reach out with the DOT business unit and BEM. We could get anything added here as needed. I do think that concludes the walkthrough.
I had a couple of questions.
Sure.
If you go to that pre-app application screen, where you attach your documents, what's the difference between a traffic signal study, a traffic signal warrant analysis, and a traffic impact study?
Yeah, I think they're just carryover for the attachments that we've had for the regular application. So, you know, there are occasions where we've had just a separate impact study, or sometimes just a warrant analysis submitted. So you can select multiple files. You can attach multiple attachments to each of those as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also, what's worth, these are not required. There's never a situation
Correct.
where the signal study or the signal warrant analysis are required. Only the traffic impact study, if this is checked. So yeah, those are not required documents.
Okay. And for pre-app requests, is that just for majors and majors with planning?
Correct.
One other question is, when you have an item that's saved for later, and you don't need it anymore, is there a way to delete that?
I believe it's 90 days. If you can open up the action items and see one of the save for later, it has an expiration date, and I believe it's 90 days. You can take a look at it real quick.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Save for later is 90 days. Thank you. So yes, the action item will stay here until the available until date or the due date in the case of action items, the requests.
Okay, so if we wanted to do a pre-app request with the, for something that's going to be a minor, is it still through this system, or would that be just a direct request still to the permits group?
Anything that's going to minors should go through the normal process. So
Okay,
direct,
so that would still maybe be like an email request or a hard copy request to them?
correct.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to confirm, is the $1,000 fee for if a traffic impact study is required or submitted for review, or is that for all pre-application submissions?
Only if the traffic study is checked.
Okay, is there a fee for pre-application submissions that
No.
do not? Okay, awesome. Thank
No.
you.
Yep.
Patrick?
Hi, thanks. Two quick questions. I know you mentioned this would go live starting next week. For any requests that are already out there, kind of waiting for a pre-update or a review, should those just continue on the process they're on, or do those need to transfer over here? That would be question number one.
So anything that's currently in process will just continue as is, and you are welcome and encouraged to use this system once it is live, moving forward.
Okay, great. And then second, I know currently when we get pre-app meetings scheduled, there's usually some back and forth emails with the case manager about different dates to find one that works for all the parties. Is that kind of optionality built into this system, or will that still probably take place offline via email?
That coordination will still happen offline. It'll just be, this will serve as the record of the date that was chosen and then the date that occurred and the notes and so forth.
Understood. Thank you.
I have a question about the system in general. Has there been any thought given to showing like a history of the attachments that have been submitted for applications and responses, just so we kind of have a record of that? Because with some applications, we've found that not all of the reviewers receive everything. So I don't know if there's something wrong on the back end. It's kind of sporadic.
So if you click on the application, Josh, it doesn't, I think it does show what applications, what documents were submitted.
It doesn't. That shows just what was filled out on the screen when the application was submitted.
Yeah. So I think I can speak to that a little bit. There is something, so this download permit button here, and we might need to coordinate with the DOT business unit a little more on this. They do have the option to create something called a package on their side, which is a button they click. They attach all the attachments that they want. That creates a zip file, and then that is available here for the customer. So if that is a necessary kind of step in the workflow, we can talk to them about that, making sure that works for them as expected.
Good afternoon. This is Andrew Ferranda. The pre-application documents that get uploaded, do they then become part of the file system so that when it moves to an application, the documents are there, or do they get flushed out and then you have to reload some of the documents? And I'm talking about like deeds and other documents that don't change. Obviously, if plans change, they would have to be uploaded to the application. But is there a link between the pre-application and the application once it moves on to that?
I mean, so when you move forward with your application submission, Andrew, you'll be able to reference the previous customer reference number. So like you're putting in the application, you'll receive a customer reference number that would for the pre-application, and you can input that, and it'll automatically link the two together.
Okay, thank you.
David, for the completeness check, do you still need to resubmit items that have not changed? Or is referencing the previous pre-application request sufficient?
I mean, as long as we have everything, I think that is sufficient. You know, obviously, if case manager, whoever's completing the completeness check needs anything additional, they can reach out either through customer communications, or obviously just via email. And just don't forget, you can also bulk upload documents as well in the attachment areas. So if you have stuff that was previously submitted on like a pre-app folder, you can select up to 10 documents at once and just bulk upload them.
And to Dave's point, I think the important thing is if you're going to reference something, just making it very clear so that we don't miss that during the completeness check and kick it back when you do
Gotcha.
have something in the system.
Yeah, just a quick question. Kind of going forward, once we get into the system and start using it for these options, if we have any other follow-up questions or maybe even wish list items about the system, who would be the best points of contact for those types of things?
So I think the contact NJDOT link, the email address that shows up there, I think that's where all the emails, Tessa, they should be sending any emails or inquiries to that email, correct?
Yep, so then that email, and we'll make sure that any issues or questions or suggestions are reported to BEM. We don't have anything else. I do want to thank everybody for joining and for being part of this rollout. And please, if you have any feedback along the way, share that with us. And we look forward to this next step in the system and streamlining the application process moving